Welcome. This is the Interfaith panel discussion on environmental issues and religion at the Quaker Meeting House. It is Wednesday, Earth Day, April 22nd, 2015. We are going to ask each of the panel members to introduce themselves briefly, and we will start now.
Hello, my name is Lourdes Thomas Leahy, and I'm a member of the Baha'i Faith, and I'm part of the Lake Worth Baha'i community.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Bishop. I'm a Zen Buddhist, and my Buddhist Dharma name is Shokai, which means inviting the world, and that's why they always send me out to these events.
Hello, I'm Paula Winker. I'm a Catholic, and I'm also a member of the Dominican community of Sisters and Associates from Cincinnati, Wisconsin.
Good evening, I'm Emily Andari, and I'm speaking on the indigenous traditions. I've worked extensively in the Lakota, Cherokee, and medicine traditions of South America.
There's once a professor who said to his class, "What are rabies, and what can you do about them?" Kid said, "Rabies, they're Jewish priests. There ain't nothing you can do about them." So I'm a rabbi. I'm a Jewish priest. My name's Barry Silver. Got a congregation in Boynton and Woolbright and Military.
I'm Barbara Lech. I'm a member of this meeting, which is formally the Religious Society of Friends. Quakers are a name that was given to us in our early days, and it was not a very nice name, but we took it up on purpose, and we call ourselves Quakers today. Thank you.
So our first question for this evening is, what does your religion have to say about protecting the environment of our planet?
All right, in the Baha'i Faith, there's a quote given by our prophet founder Baha'u'llah, and he says, "The earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens." And one of the tenets of the Baha'i Faith is unity of everything, religions, science and religion, not only people, but also the idea that everything is interconnected. And so if we are interconnected, if we are all citizens of this earth, as humans, our responsibility is to take care of this planet which we share with all peoples. And if we were to share and be mindful of all peoples, then we would make sure that everyone had the same quality of life. And if we think about the quality of life, then that means that everyone has the same clean air, the same healthy lifestyle, the same food, and we have that equality and balance within the earth. And so it's basically always about understanding the unity of humanity and the unity of humanity with nature.
I'm going to share some information and some writing by a wonderful Zen teacher, John Diote Laurie, in his book, Teachings of the Earth, Zen and the Environment. And to follow up on what she just said, it's interesting how most religions are the same. He wrote this. He said, "Each thing, each tip of grass, each dewdrop, each and everything throughout the whole phenomenal universe contains the totality of the universe. That's the truth of the myriad forms of this great earth." And that includes human beings. We are part of it all, of the earth. And so it is our jobs as the humans to be able to keep the planet in such a way that we can actually live on the planet and exist on the planet. I'm going to share one more thing with you. He says the whole point of Zen training in a natural environment is to make us open and receptive to the insentient, to nature itself as the teacher. And until human beings can feel that there is as much life in the insentient, the trees, the grass, the rocks, and the hills, we will be unable to really maintain the quality of life on this earth to sustain human life. And so we'll talk more about it as we go along.
Okay, from the Compendium of Social Doctrine of the Catholic Church, we find the statement that the care of the environment represents a challenge for all of humanity. It is a matter of common and universal duty, that of respecting a common good, destined for all, by preventing anyone from using with impunity the different categories of beings, whether living or inanimate, animals or plants or natural elements, simply as one wishes, according to one's own economic needs. The principles of Catholic social teaching are also a primary source of what my faith teaches me about social justice. And this is a body of a doctrine developed by the Catholic Church on matters of social justice involving issues of poverty and wealth, economic, social organization, and the role of the state. Among the 7 principles of this body of teaching is work for the common good. Pope John the 23rd defined common good as the sum total of social conditions which allows people, either as groups or individuals, to reach their fulfillment more fully and easily. You may remember during the past presidential election, the Catholic nuns who developed the bus tour called Nuns on the Bus. This was in opposition to the proposed budget by the vice presidential candidate of one party, who proposed a budget that would be particularly negative to the poor and the marginalized. And so their principle, their policy was that they were in opposition to this budget because it did not support the Catholic social teachings.
There's a quote, a Native American quote, that says that we do not inherit our earth from our ancestors, but rather from our children. And I feel that the teachings and traditions and the wisdoms of the indigenous people really are about that. They're about being in harmony and finding a way to sustain and preserve what we have here now for our future, for our children, for the next generations that are coming, this new age and this new era. And in that means our rainforests, the land, our natural resources, really looking to them to better them, to begin societal structures and groups, and really funding and being a part and getting involved in these kinds of measures that are already at play. And also, as we become awakened and more aware, and just as they had said, she had read the quote and it talked about the sweetness. The indigenous teachings focus so much on finding that beauty in every blade of grass, finding that beauty in the flowers, in the sand, in the dirt. And in that honoring of that, we're honoring ourselves. And with that equation, we can't do anything but be on a path of well-being and walking that path of the heart. They call it the red road, that path of the heart, and in goodwill and in good service to the earth and all that is as one.
I think it's very symbolic that there's an empty chair at Earth First on a religious panel, because Earth has not come first for most religions. Now, there are people on this panel who buck the trend. Many people here do so much to help the planet, but in general, religion itself has very often put Earth last, and sometimes treated as just a way station getting ready for the next world. In fact, some actually teach that the destruction of this world is part of God's plan, and so let's encourage that to happen. And so this is very indicative of how many religions have viewed earth, not first but last, and often with contempt. The scandal now is being talked about by so many people with Hillary Clinton and the emails about Benghazi. And Bill Clinton defended her and said, "My wife did not have textual relations with Benghazi." Our people, the Jewish people, we have textual relations with our ancestors from 3,000 years ago. We call it the Torah. And that allows us to be in relationship with people who lived long ago. And the prophets didn't get everything right. But one thing they did get right, because today we have now legalized marijuana, and we've legalized gay marriage. And the prophets did predict that on the day that a man sleeps with another man, he shall be stoned. But what the prophets could not predict, what none of the ancient texts could possibly have known about, was global warming and the capacity of human beings to unleash such horrific destruction of this planet. And therefore, we have to move beyond the text and look to the principles and the ideals of the text. And what the principles of the Jewish text and Christian and Islam and all of our texts, what they indicate is that creation is a miracle. That the fact that we're here, that the fact that nature works the way it does, is something so stupendous and awe-inspiring that we should treat Earth with a feeling of awe, not with an awful type of treatment. And so therefore, we are commanded to take care of this planet. And religion has, by and large, failed. The destruction of Earth that has been done in the name of religion is nothing short of blasphemy. The wiping out of so many species is perhaps the worst form of sacrilege. The use of the earth and the view of the earth as a commodity rather than as something sacred is idolatry. It's putting things first instead of creation. And what we have done to this planet is nothing short than crimes against nature. And so I thank the Quakers for having this conference so that perhaps we can try to help reverse that trend.
It's going to be tough to follow Barry with his jokes, which I appreciate. What do friends have to say about protecting the environment of our planet? Our very first thing the very first thing that we explain to people about what friends believe is that there is that of God in everyone and everything. And the everything is all of God's creation. We have testimonies, and I think they are important because they tie us into living in a holistic way with the earth. Those testimonies are simplicity, peace, integrity, community, equality, stewardship of the earth. We care for the earth. We are a part of the earth. We are in community. We are a part of the community of earth. Integrity calls us to live in a way with earth that is not destructive. We ask ourselves that we may be at peace with earth instead of the path that we are on presently that causes so much destruction. Equality is so important because all of our fellow creatures were made by the Creator. Equality is important for eco-justice as we set about what our actions will be, what we work on. We keep close to us that there are communities of other human beings in the world that will be suffering, the poor will be suffering from the ill effects of the destruction of the earth. And we must work to do what we can to eliminate that. I really like a quote from William Penn, who was the founder of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth then, and it harkens back to how we thought as friends of nature early on. He said, "It would go a great way to caution and direct people in their use of the world that they were better studied and known in the creation of it. For how could man find the confidence to abuse it, while they should see the great Creator stare them in the face in all and every part thereof?"